pasuk says, "Ushaftem uriisem ben oived Elokim lasher lo yavodei." Look into and you will see that there are two types of Jews. The pasuk says, "Oived Elokim lasher lo yavodei." Oived Elokim is the one who serves the Rebbeinu Shalom, and asher lo yavodei, lo with an aleph, lo yavodei, someone who does not serve the Rebbeinu Shalom. So the Gemara says in Chagiga, the Gemara says that the pasuk does not refer to a tzaddik and a rosha. The Oived Elokim asher lo yavodei are not a person who serves the Rebbeinu Shalom who does mitzvot, and asher lo yavodei is not a person who doesn't do mitzvot. We're talking about something else at all. Because the Gemara, the pasuk itself says, and that same pasuk it says, "Ushaftem urisim." Look into it and you will see that just like there's a difference between Oved Elokim, Asher Lo Yavodei, Oved Elokim, someone who serves the Hashem, Asher Lo Avodei, someone who doesn't serve, the pasuk itself says, just like there's a tzaddik and a rosha, just that way there are two types of Jews. Says the Gemara, what are these two types of Jews? Oved Elokim, Asher Lo Avodei, one who serves and one who does not serve. So the Gemara says the following, interesting, that we're talking about both are people which are Shomre Torah mitzvot, and they daven, and they learn, and they eat kosher, and they constantly serving Hashem. But one can be a servant of Hashem, and someone is not a servant of Hashem. So the Gemara says what? Both have a shiur, and both learn. One learns everything 100 times, and one learns everything 101 times. That's what the Gemara says. What do you mean? I take something and I study it and repeat it 100 times. That's called Asher Lo Avodei. If I repeat it 101 times, that's called Oved Elokim. Why? Why is that called Oved Elokim? So Rashi says there the following. Rashi says everyone was accustomed at that time to learn everything 100 times. That was a custom. So when you did that for 100 times, and you constantly do it every time you learn something, you repeat it 100 times, that was a custom. But when you did it 101 times, that extra additional time, that made you for Oved Elokim, because that you're serving. Because the 100 times you didn't do it because you're serving the Eibishter. You're not serving Hashem. You do it because you're accustomed to. Like a ball that rolls down the hill. It's natural. But when you're going against your nature, that's called Oved Elokim. That's called somebody that's working with serving Hashem. Otherwise, you're serving your own instincts. I remember, it's already taking me back, the year I got married, Tovshin Lamed Vav, in 76, I was asked to volunteer to give a shiur in a yeshiva for Balei Tshuva. Very interesting. So I agreed, why not? I'll come every morning, I'll give a shiur, Chassidut, to those Balei Tshuva. I remember I came in the first day to that shiur, and I introduced myself. My name is Yossi Chitrik. I live down the block, I just got married. Okay. I was in New York. In New York. That was before I was sent to Tzfaz. I lived on Eastern Parkway in New York. And I was sent, I was asked by the Rosh Yeshiva to come in every morning and to give a shiur. Fine. So I came in, I introduced myself. The first time I just wanted to break the ice, who am I? And I asked each one to introduce himself, what's his name? So like there's a kesher, a contact. So everyone introduced himself. And then in the corner there was a fellow Jew. I saw he's already elderly and he was already married, I assumed, yeah. And and his words are still clinging to my ear, ringing. And I asked him, introduce yourself, and he said, my name is so and so, and I live. My name is so and so. I'm married, and I live in that place. There was a in New York. It's it's blocks, very straight blocks, and I live. He was 5 blocks this way and 6 long blocks that way. Wow, I said, wow, you live pretty far. Where do you daven? I said, I daven here in 770 in the Eastern Parkway in the Rebbe Shul. Okay, fine. So, does he have a car? That was just a way of like breaking, asking him how he is and what. He says, no, I walk. But then he added a line, and I'll never forget that line. He says, I walk to shul every day from a different way. Sometimes I go here and there. Sometimes I come this way and this way. And sometimes I go through the little streets and I walk to shul every day a different way. I don't want to be accustomed that I'm coming to shul. I want to feel it. I want to feel it. And this came from a Baal Tshuva, which he wanted to feel that I get in shul, he goes to shul. So every day he walked. I don't remember. I walked to shul, Baruch Hashem, every day. We all walked.
It to be a routine.
A routine. He didn't want it to become like just by natural. He wanted to feel it. I said to myself, wow. And I constantly thinking to myself, I walk to shul every day, the same path every day. I go to the mikveh, to the shul and back, but this is... Someone would come, how did you walk today to shul? What happened? I don't remember. I woke up and I found myself in the shul. Did it perspire? Did it do something to me? Did it transform me something? Did it do something to me? No. Was it me that did it? Of course it's me, I came. It was really me. It was my mahus, my essence that came to shul. Or just by natural circumstance I found myself in shul.
A habit.
What? A habit. By routine. And it was just something that it's not me. Who is it? Me? Me means that I put something in. I broke myself. That's what the Gemara says. If you learn 100 times, but that's what you're accustomed to. That's what you routinely you do, naturally you do. That's not called Oved Hashem. That's Asher Lo Avodo. You're not serving Hashem. Serving Hashem is when I break myself. When I break my natural instincts. When I do something, and because I feel it, I broke it. It's not something which I really wanted to do, but I'm breaking myself. That's called Oved Elokim. Oved Elokim. What's the difference in Oved Elokim and Eved Hashem? Eved Hashem, we say in davening, Moshe Rabbeinu was an Eved Hashem. Eved past tense. He's an Eved. He was already a servant. He doesn't need to constantly break himself. He was an Eved Hashem. But we are in that stage where we constantly need to break ourselves. Oved, in the present tense. Oved. It's a verb, oved. Eved is a noun. Oved means it's a verb. We need constantly serving the Eibishter.
You mean that Moshe Rabbeinu was not a Eved?
Was not. Gemara says he's a Eved Hashem, Shema Toar, Chacham.
Because maybe he always was Eved.
Because he has come to that stage. He's totally batel to the Hashem. Because totally subordinate to Hakadosh Baruch Hu. So he in that stage.
But it means that Moshe Rabbeinu studied something 100 times or 101.
Moshe Rabbeinu was not his own mitziut. Moshe Rabbeinu was Eved Hashem. Batel. Shechina medaber mito grono.
But when he learned something, was it 100 times or the 101?
Tzaddik means that he is in that stage. There's nothing to break. It's not.
Even the first time that he learned from being used.
It's not himself.
Different level.
Gemara says, David HaMelech says, "V'libi halal bekirbi, en lo yetzer hara." It's not his own personal. He has no personality. Who he is. He's totally batel to Hashem. Eved Hashem. Eved is a noun. He doesn't need to work. Because why? Because he's totally Hashem, Meuchad im HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's totally unified with the Eibishter. So, this means serving Hashem, where coming to shul is a good thing. It's a proper thing that we should be doing. But Oved Hashem means someone who is constantly fighting, battling himself. And from here we come to an interesting point. I was talking to a group of Eden half a year ago. I asked them, tell me, a person who's 70 years old, 70 years, he's coming to shul daily, and he's praying, and he has a shiur, and he eats kosher, everything's... Did he become more refined? Did he, in his personal lives, his ta'avot olam hazeh, his desires and his lusts to olam hazeh become lower, lesser, more refined? And the answer is no. The answer is, they were surprised. Wow, we thought that if you put on film every day, you lose your yetzer hara. No. And the answer is no. The answer is that Torah mitzvot unite me with Hashem, but I remain the same animal. I have the same animal soul, and I have the same lusts and desires to Olam Hazeh. And even more so, they can even grow. They grow with time. The only way to refine our animal soul, Yetzer Hara, our nefesh habahamit, is only, the Gemara says, this Gemara which says, I have to break it. When I go against my nature, when I go against my teva, when I go against my desires, when I push myself a little bit more than I can, than I think I can, that's how you break. And that's exactly what the Ramban says in Parshat Kedoshim. A person could be Kiyum Torah Mitzvot and remain what? Naval B'Shut Torah. You can remain the same Naval, the same, how would you translate the word Naval? The same low life. Because Torah Mitzvah itself makes me do the right thing, but does not refine me. That's the first point. So, in order to be lezakech, to refine ourselves, we need to push constantly more. I davened in this part, in davening b'kavanah, I need to do better tomorrow. And tomorrow, if I stay at that same line, I'm back to Asher Lo Avodo. I can't just rely that yesterday I had a battle. If today I picked myself up, but I leveled off, and I'm still at that same level, I'm back to Asher Lo Avodo. In order to be, we need to be constantly Oved Elokim, constantly to push beyond that psychological gap or stop how much I can my limit where I can get to. That's called Oved Elokim. Because if not, I'm back to doing what I did. I'm coming to. I want to use this as a understanding what V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. And here's the idea that the Alter Rebbe, the founder of Chabad, uses to explain how do we get to V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. And the obvious question is, kamocha, is it attainable? Can I really help to love someone else kamocha like I love myself? Is it shayach? Is it something that, and if Hashem asks me for it, so definitely the shayach, that's something that can be done and attainable. So how can Hashem ask me something which, at first thought, is not something which is human? I have my own desires. I have my own needs, my necessities. I think about myself. I cannot, with my best will, I cannot feel someone else's necessities the way I feel my own.
says, "Mi yochush chutz mimeni."
So how does that have kamocha? And here comes the nekuda. The Mishnah says in Pirkei Avot, there are two types of loves. Ahava hatluya bedavar, ve'ahava she'eina tluya bedavar. There's a love which has a reason for. And there's a love she'eina tluya bedavar, which is not tluya, is not dependent on something else. Let's give an example. There's ahava tluya bedavar. I love my teacher because he teaches me good things. He teaches me things good, and I receive from him. I love him. Let's think for a second. I love my teacher. Ahava tluya bedavar. It's dependent. Do I really love my teacher, or do I love his seichel? What do I love? Let's think about the teacher. Do I love the teacher, or do I love his seichel, his thoughts that he's giving me, his lessons that he's giving me? But I love the teacher.
Yeah, but,
the teacher.
He had a choice not to do it.
Yeah.
So therefore, I love the teacher.
If tomorrow,
it's through his way of approach.
Okay.
But it's of course of the man behind it. Or if somebody else doesn't do the same to me.
If tomorrow morning someone will come to tell me that whatever my teacher taught was false, was sheker, do I still love him? No.
I have a suffix.
No. Because the whole ava was tluya bedavar, Says the Mishnah, batel davar, batel ava.
Yeah.
So I really don't love my teacher, in essence. Yeah, I love him. I love his seichel. Somebody did me a favor.
Why don't you say that he loves him because of Sif Seichel, but he loves him?
The answer would be, but tomorrow morning when someone will tell me that what the seichel was wrong, I don't love him anymore. If somebody does me kindness, I love the person, I love his kindness. If somebody tomorrow morning will tell me what he gave me was poison, I don't love him anymore. So I'm really loving his kindness. Step 2. I love my teacher, or it's my seichel loving my teacher? I, in essence, loving my teacher, or it's my seichel that loves the seichel of the teacher?
You love yourself.
That's my step. That's step 3. I'm going to come into that. So who is really? It's my seichel, my understanding, that loves the seichel of the teacher.
What do you mean? It means the Seichel involved or the Regesh also?
In the case of the seichel, is because the seichel brought about ava, but it's the seichel. That's the davar. That's the depend. That's the siba. That's the cause. The cause. I really love the cause.
But anything has got a cause. Somebody loves his children. Why? Because they were my children.
So that's
also the cause.
No, that's exactly what I'm going to say. That's exactly the contrary. Ava she'inat luya b'davar is called ava tzvit. I love my children. For a
why
reason.
do you love your children more than another child?
Because it's me. Because it's my essence.
It was born for me.
Because that's me. That's my essence. That's my mitzias. Because I love my children. I think that's why I think that they're not smartest, and I think they're the finest and the kindest. That's why. That's already totzah. Because just like I feel myself, why does a person? The pasuk said, "Al kol pshaim techaseh ava." I don't feel any faults in myself. Why don't I feel any faults in myself? Why don't I feel any faults in myself? I don't feel any faults. I don't feel any faults because of the ava atzmit. Because I love myself. That's why I don't see any faults in myself. Because this is me. My children is ava she'inat luya bedavar. That's exactly ava she'inat luya bedavar. It doesn't start from a reason. I love the teacher because of the reason that brought about ava. I love the person who did me kindness because that was the cause of the thing. Loving avas mit means I love my children, I love my father because he gave me birth, or because he helped me, or because it's my father.
What does it mean if he is my father?
Because I love him, the person, not because of any reason. The reasons come later. Because he's my father. But I love a person just loves himself. Why does he love himself? Why does a person love himself?
Why should not create it like this?
But let's understand that David created that I love myself. Why do I love myself? Because of a reason? Is there a reason why I love myself? Or because it's myself, it's me.
It's the whole self.
The whole self, the Hanel Gant Metzias. Ava means itchabrut to something else. There are dargot, stages, in levels in Ava. Real Ava means this itchabrut of two things, the unity of two things, for no reason. Not because I gain something.
And let's say the father is going to abuse the son, heat him and not give it to eat, nothing. Will it not develop to a sin with the time? It might develop in the chitzoniyut shelo. Bepnimiyut, one day he will. How can a person? How do we find that people abuse their children, and then one day those children are ready to forgive everything because it's their father? I've seen this. Yeah, but there's also
why it would have happened somewhere else, it wouldn't happen.
There are also cases where no.
Yes,
they can't stand it for lo'ilam voed.
Because the chitzoniyut of it that blocks him and doesn't allow him to see it and to feel it. But now, bepnimiyut, be'etzem nafsho, he has a ahava, love to his children or to his father because it's him, and that's why it's easy for him to forgive.
Also, you see by Bob Martel, the father to the son is more than the son to the father.
Okay, that is another thing.
You know,
and what I mean, I
from
thought always Ahava Shalem Tluyu means. I make a short. I read a story. There was a woman, and she had a husband, and he abused her. He hit her, and he did terrible things to her. And he was a Unterweltnik. And then he got caught, and fleeing from the police, he came to her, and she mamish at gedem serious nefesh. even whatever he did bad to her, she still loved him. Why? Because she felt, I don't know, this was something not from the seichel. I think that this is ahava, which ahava she'el tluy b'davar. It's not when, because when it is, I mean, it's a degree. He'd be nice to me, no, he'd be bad. If in a certain degree of wickedness it is, I will be prepared not to love him. This is still a tluy b'davar, I think. So a father and a son, or a son and a father, that one sorrows to the other one, till he's making a cheshbon. What kind of a father is this? And he's ready to leave him, or to go against him, or to kill him, or I don't know, whatever. So it means that this is Avat Tluya B'Dover, no?
In the end of the day, a son loves his father not because of a reason, because just like a person loves himself, he loves his father. That's why he loves his father. If there's a reason, a side reason,
You mean Ava means the instinct?
Ava means a kesher, a unity, a feeling of
An instinct.
an instinct of a chabrut, not because it didn't start from a reason. Now, there are reasons that can stop it, that can block it. There's a person you can ask a question, avat smit, a person loves himself, that's the best dugma of avat smit, and people commit suicide. There's something wrong in the chitzoniut shelo that he doesn't see it, he doesn't feel it.
This is not a good raya. Because suicide means that he's also dying.
There's something.
The ohev, he's also dying.
No.
Yeah, so he's ready to be detrimental to himself.
He thinks that this is good for
So
himself.
a father's abuse his son means he's actually psychologically crazy.
Yeah, there's something.
It's basically wrong.
Let's go back to, so avat smit means I really love something, not because of reason, but I have a kesher atzmi, a unity with that thing, with that person. The best kesher avat smit is me to myself and me to my children, because it doesn't start from a reason. So when the Torah says v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, means to love another id. Kamocha means avat smit, not for a reason. Now the question, now we come to realization that this is kamocha. Kamocha means for no reason. Now how can I'm back to square one?
Is that what it means?
That's what it means. That's what it means. But the question is now that we know what avas chinam means, avat smit, how do I get it? And the answer is, the true avat chinam, kamocha, can only be when a person is in that stage and works on getting that stage, that his neshama, Torah mitzvot, the Eibishter, Yahadut, is something more important to him than his personal gashmizdika needs. What does that mean? What puts apart me from my friend? Because I have my gashmizdika need, and then my personal needs, my material needs, and someone else has other needs. You know, when two soldiers are on the front, and they have a common enemy, at that moment nobody thinks of his family. And they're moving on to kill that terrorist. At that moment nobody thinks which dargah he is and who was his family. They have a common thing which unites them, and they forget about their own mitziut. They forget about their own selves. At that moment nobody thinks who's higher, who's the commander, who's not. And no one thinks what is, because there's something which is so clear that everything else fades away. If a person comes to a stage with Yiddishkeit, Yahadut, that's what important to it in his life. His physical needs are only here to serve his spiritual needs. That what's important to him is what? To serve Hashem. His neshama needs. From the perspective of neshama needs, there's no difference between him and the other Yid. What's the difference between him and the other Yid? There's one need, there's one need that what is important is Hashem's ratzon, Hashem's will. That's what is important to his life. His personal needs are secondary. If that's what's important to him in his life, if that's what it's important to his life, Then what's it between him and another friend? I'll tell you something which comes to me in mind now. I'll never forget.
Then what did you say? Then, if that's the case,
then only when a person can uplift himself and get to that stage that what's important to him is primary is Hashem's will, then there's no difference between him and another Yid. I'll tell you something interesting. On every Friday, I go to the prison to visit the Jews and put on film with them. It's my every Friday. So a few months ago, I went to the prison. I walked in. I see someone I know. I didn't ask him why he's here. And at that day, I see that all the people they already put on film. Oh, see that gentleman that put on film on us. He was sitting there. He already did his rounds. And he's sitting. He's one of the inmates. I go to him, shalom. I didn't like it. But he said, yeah, I'm here for 2 weeks. I was given a choice by the judge for 3 months to do social services or 2 weeks in the prison. I said to myself, a very serious younger man. I said to myself, I'm going to do 3 months of social services, work in a hospital, in the kitchen somewhere, or wherever they'll set me up to do something. I'll be busy. Here I have 2 weeks with a captive audience to be mekaradem to Hashem. So what would Hashem want me to do? To think about myself for 3 months? It's easier to be 3 months. 3 months, you come free person, or for 2 weeks, and to help other Yidden which I can. So I decided that's what Hashem wants me to do. Not what's comfortable for me. I said to myself, wow, I would never have done that.
Also for his name being in jail.
Yeah, and everything else. There's no question about that. But his machshava was, he thought, what does Hashem want me to do? What does Hashem want me to do? If a person comes up to that dargah, that Hashem's will is more important than his personal needs, then he can only then can he come kamoicha. Only then come kamoicha. Now we'll understand. Omar Rabbi Akiva zekla godel b'Torah. And Hillel said what? Zeu kol haTorah kulo, vida pirushi. Now we'll understand something beautiful. How is it kol haTorah kulo? After Rachamecha is a step, is the foundation, the base for lo tignov, for lo tirtzach, for other mitzvot which are ben adam lechavero. How is v'after Rachamecha a base for eating matzahs? Ma kesher. How is v'after Rachamecha loving another friend a basis for what? For eating the sugar priyant film. It's a base. It's a yesod for what? Mitzvot sheben adam lechavero. Between a person and his friend. How is that a base to a foundation to ben adam lamakom, mitzvot sheben adam lamakom? The answer is that's not the base. That's the test. You know something? The Eibusha gave us Tariag mitzvot. The Eibusha gave us 630 mitzvot, right? How can I first test between me and myself, quietly between myself, test, am I on the right path or not? Is there such a thing? And the answer is yeah, the Eibusha gave a built-in test, the self-test. A built-in test for the whole Kol HaTorah Kula. What is Kol HaTorah Kula? How much are you ready to give up your own needs for Hashem? You want to know? How close can you get to another friend? Kamocha. If you can uplift yourself, upgrade yourself, that Hashem's needs should be more important to you than your personal needs, then this is Kol HaTorah Kula. That's Kol HaTorah Kula. That's what Hillel said. Madal, which this is Kol HaTorah. Ziltmor, go learn. Because that's the test, the self-test, that a person could test himself and how much is Hashem's will important to me.
Thank you very
A half hour?
Time is up.
Time's up.
Very, very.
So the word.
I heard, I forgot the name who, someone here was giving Dushan Stam, there was a thing about the Tzaddik, I don't remember who, from, it was a Sidisha or something 300 years ago. And someone asked me if you can help him doing something a favor. Did it. And while I was helping out making him this favor, the other one was cursing him out, not, okay, people around was like very surprised. And he asked him, can you help me with this and this? Yeah, and while he's telling the other one's complaining and not cursing him out, and again, I said, I don't understand, you don't have some pride. You're helping him, and he's cursing out. I don't help him because I help because it says you have to help another Jew, not because it doesn't matter. He just curse me or doesn't curse me. That's not what it's depending. I have to help. So help. Finished.
I heard the name of the Chassam Sofer. I'm also, besides being a seminary principal, I'm also the Gabbatz Dok of my Kehillah. So I always say this to myself. I once heard the Chassam Sofer, people would ask him for halva'ah, he would give a bintel, I'm giving a bintel geld, coins, a bintel coins. Zugesund. So in that bintel, is this bundle of coins, there always be a few pebbles. With the coins. He said, Ich weiß doch sof, those that I help throw stones at me later. So, but let them throw little stones at me.